Namaste, and welcome to the second session of the second day of DSVV's Global E-Conclave on the occasion of the International Day of Yoga. Earlier today, a panel of esteemed sports personalities shared their perspectives on embracing unity and solidarity in the times of COVID-19. Education, as we know it, is a great human equalizer and provides the ability to cut through social, cultural, and economic norms. The founder of the all-world Gayatri Pariwar, Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya Ji, envisioned an institute that would unite contemporary education with spiritual training by imparting yogic practices for a holistic way of life. He laid the foundations of Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, or also known as DSVV, with this very vision. DSVV cultivates individuals and creates well-rounded and grounded graduates that aim to uplift the society. In this session, we will hear from scholars, professors, and doctors who are leaders in their respective fields of study. These academics are thought leaders and drive their institutions towards innovation and change. Let us further explore the theme through their lens. Academia has the richness of so many fields, and while it is impossible to have them all represented here, we will explore the theme of the E-Conclave through the lens of religion, spirituality, yoga, and medicine. Our upcoming session has been organized and positioned as a virtual journey across the globe. Without further delay, we start off this session with our first esteemed guest speaker, the respected Dr. Mark Owen, who leads cooperation between senior leaders of religious traditions for peace building. He is the Secretary General of the European Council of Religious Leaders, the Director of the University of Winchester's Center for Religion, Reconciliation, and Peace Building. He's the founder and trustee of the UK registered charity Freedom to Learn, which works to provide the opportunity of education to children from some of the remotest regions of the Himalayas and South Asia. Currently, he's engaged in research projects that are looking at the role of religious actors and organizations in peace-building processes in Nepal and Myanmar, and multi-faith approaches to migration and integration in Europe. And with that pretext, we now invite Dr. Owen to commence this session with his message on unity and solidarity.
Pranam. As someone who's had the good fortune to experience the hospitality, kindness and support of your amazing organisation, I just wanted to take a few moments to thank all the Gayatri Pariwar devotees around the world. I know so many of you are working tirelessly and relentlessly to support medical staff, key workers and all those affected by COVID-19 at this difficult time. Please do stay safe and well. Your organisation is an inspiration to us all. Thank you once again for all your hard work and dedication.
Thank you so much, Dr. Owen, for your vision and views on how to create unity and solidarity and advocating for peace building to bring together people of different faiths. This is a wonderful stage that we're engaged in today that's bringing together the immense knowledge of academic leaders in their respective fields. Let us continue to explore the theme further with our next esteemed speaker, respected Professor Christopher Key Chapple, who has made much impact with his research interests in renouncing religions and supporting writings. He is a professor of Indic and Comparative Theology and the founding director of the Master of Arts in Yoga Studies program at the Loyola Marymount University in Los Angeles. He's an Indologist and scholar of the renouncing religions of India, namely Yoga, Jainism, and Buddhism. He's the editor of the journal titled World Views, Global Religions, Culture, and Ecology. He served as the assistant director of the Institute for Advanced Studies of World Religions for 5 years at the State University of New York at Stony Brook. He co-founded LMU's program in Asian and Pacific Studies, chaired the Department of Theological Studies for 5 years, and served as Associate Academic Vice President for 4 years. He's received the Fulbright Nehru Excellence Award for supporting 4 months of research and teaching in India in 2019. And so without further ado, we now would like to invite Dr. Christopher K. Chappleji for sharing his insights on the theme at hand.
Namaste. It is a great honor to record this short talk on the current coronavirus crisis on the invitation by Dr. Chinmay Pandya. Dr. Pandya's remarks have urged us all to focus on humanity during this uncertain time, to remember that we are one race, one species, one people. All over the planet, rituals celebrate the frontline caregivers. In Europe and New York City, people each night give out shouts and bang pots and pans to praise the dangerous and selfless work performed by nurses, doctors, and hospital staff. And in India, in a spirit akin to Diwali, people from all faiths have been invited to light a lamp to dispel the darkness that has been brought by this virus. And people all over the world sit with one another now via electronic media, using all manner of software and devices to check in with and support one another. Education and community are being enabled in new ways. Cultural and religious traditions are being rethought to respond to the call for social isolation for the sake of the greater good. In the next few minutes, I'll offer some observations and ideas from the world's religions that might possibly be useful. First, let me start with the obvious for the Gayatri Pariwar community. And with humility, I want to just share that this has been part of my own spiritual sadhana for nearly 50 years. And as we reflect on the Gayatri, we see that we can think about it in terms of its 4 parts. The opening invocation starts with Om, a reminder of our unity and connection. Bahur reminds us of the earth and the waters, the power of all beings, including viruses, all beings held firm by gravity. Bhuva invokes heat and breath, warmth and wind, the realm of motion and the dynamism of life itself. Swa brings us into space and beyond, circling back and above into the realms of inclusion and transcendence. Tat Savitur Varenyam. These syllables call forth the light of the new day spilling across the horizon, calling birds into song and flight, calling day-waking animals into action, calling the human once more into the rhythm of life. For the past several weeks, the slumber of human activity has been expressed in ways never before. The plains are silent, the roads are still, the hubbub has disappeared. We yearn for the return of the heat and energy of life fully expressed. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. We see the effulgence of the light possessed by gods and goddesses, including the power of our very own senses and our organs. Having restrained our activity for these past many weeks, we've built up a reserve of energy. We can anticipate and imagine a return to full engagement with the universe. We remember what was. We feel stillness in the present. We anticipate a revived future. Dio Yona Prachodya. We think, we see, we contemplate. We implore that our thoughts be reasonable and well-formed, that our contemplations bear fruit in a way that supports the well-being of all. The virus has cast a shadow of darkness upon the face of humanity. By thinking toward the return of the sun, by remembering that the darkness will be dispelled by the passage of time, we can live with confidence and hope in the words of Dr. Pandya, with no fear, no despair. In the days ahead, we can draw inspiration from the various stories being told about the heroic healthcare workers making great sacrifices and working long hours. We are all feeling connected in our observance of limited movement, of our covered mouths, of holding back from physically reaching out to touch others. We are in a time of sacred pause, a time of sustained silence. As we cultivate and explore our capacity for patience, we build reserves of energy for our eventual return. By making time for daily meditation, we enter states of repair. And with hope, we prepare for the work that faces us in a new future. Namaste.
Thank you so much, Dr. Chapple. We're indeed grateful to you for sharing your valuable insights and for sharing decades of teachings and yogic earnings to reinforce the theme of this E-Conclave. From the field of religion, let us now move towards the field of medicine. In continuing with this session's agenda, we now transition to our next esteemed guest speaker, respected Professor John Giannios, who is well established and respected for his leadership and research in genome, nanosurgery, and cancer. He is the president of the International Association of Personalized Perioperative Medicine and Laser, Robotic, and Genomic Nanosurgery, also known as NanoMed. He's the president of the Hellenic and International Society of Molecular and Genomic Medicine. He's the president of the International Association of Personalised Perioperative Medicine and Nanosurgery. He's the head of the Translational Medicine Assembly of the American Society of Biomedicine. He's the chief medical editor of the official journal of the Hellenic and International Society of Molecular and Genomic Medicine and Research. And he's a member of the European Society of Preventive, Regenerative, and Anti-Aging Medicine. So let us now tune in to listen to a scientist's perspective on unity and solidarity.
Atmiya Chinmay, brothers and sisters. Starting my message of solidarity, I want to say Namaste, because my soul honors your soul. I honor the place in you where the entire universe resides. I honor the light, love, truth, beauty, and peace within you, because it is also within me. In sharing these things, we're united, we're the same, we're one. I want to express my great respect for the Indian people, and also I want to remind you that Greeks from the ancient times had very strong links with Indians, involving the ancient Greek god Dionysus, who was called as Nysian because he had founded the city of Nysa, and he was considered the son of the river Indus. Also, the ancient Greek writer Megasthenes has written Indica, and the philosopher Pyrrho, who accompanied Alexander the Great, had developed his philosophy of Pyrrhonism in India, which was similar to the three Buddhist marks of existence. Furthermore, Indo-Greek kingdoms were founded by the successor of Alexander the Great. A subsequent Indo-Greek collaboration has led to the Greco-Buddhist cultural syncretism. There was the Hellenistic influence on Indian art. Since then, India and Greece enjoy close cultural and trade relations and collaborations respectively. For instance, in June 2019, the first Greek-Indian Business Association was established in Athens. Also, there is the establishment of the Indo-Hellenic Society for Culture and Development. Thus, a sense of solidarity and connectedness to one another has been created and established. Concerning myself, I have enjoyed tremendously the Indian hospitality when I was invited to give medical lectures and educate doctors, medical doctors, in personalized and precision anti-cancer medicine, including nanosurgery, for the Northeast Cancer Hospital, a research institute in Guwahati, Assam. Also, I have been invited to the Dr. B. Borov Cancer Institute, which is a unit of Tata Memorial at the Cancer Center, Mumbai, and also in Ayurveda Super Specialty Hospital, which is another cancer hospital in Assam. Also the Assam Don Bosco University, also the University of Science and Technology in Meghalaya, and finally I was invited to give a lecture in the Indian Institute of Technology or IIT in Guwahati in Assam. Of course, I want to express of how grateful I am for meeting the highly spiritual, a very respectful colleague of mine, Dr. Chinmay Padya, with whom we plan to establish an academic collaboration based on altruistic solidarity in his excellent spiritual and scientific university for helping people and educating doctors. In these unprecedented times, we must share a universal message of mutual love and respect, support, companionship, hope, and mainly solidarity, because without them, our faith will be dead. We'll be able to circumvent crises like pandemic COVID-19 with a spirit of cura personalis as a hallmark of spirituality, which translates from Latin as care for the entire person, suggesting individualized attention to the needs of the other. Also, the need for advocacy is imperative for helping the poor, weak, and defenseless people, especially the unprotected children and elderly. We must unite our efforts with deep solidarity, meaning that for solving our problems we must sacrifice many things from our ego and recognize that all of us, privileged and unprivileged, are in the same boat, trying to address and solve the problems of the world together and united. With the facilitation of our solidarity, we can become stronger, overcoming the most scary and devastating obstacles like COVID-19, normalizing our lives by achieving it together. We have to be working together for achieving the best of ourselves by focusing on health and safety for ourselves and our people. Only with solidarity we can defeat any unprecedented epidemic crisis while building a better world. For this, we have a great need for our God to bless us and shed holy light upon us and give us peace. Thus, it is a responsibility of each one of us to contribute towards a united effort in the best way possible, offering altruistic solidarity and support without any trace of selfishness for people that need our help the most, for combating every crisis, focusing mainly in children and elderly. According to the sayings of the astral figure of the Yogi Gurudev that had been revealed to one of the greatest philanthropists and philosophers, Sri Ram Sharma, these are critical times, and there are great chances of mankind being grievously harmed and overwhelmed by the forces of darkness. Thus, I want to make you a medium to help solve the problems bedeviling humanity. It is for this purpose that I have come to you. Similarly, I have come also as a professor in genomic medicine in the UK, teaching doctors how to perform personalized and precision medicine approaches for curing incurable diseases. I come to you as a friend, and I offer you my friendship, which according to the Greek philosopher Aristotle is very sacred, since without friends no one could choose to live, though he had all other goods. And according to the concept of friendship, also from the ancient Greek philosopher Plato, with the ideal state of Plato, the proton philon or best friend constitutes a cultivated virtue of the highest value, consisting of the idea of truth, goodness, and eternal beauty, including the third element of ancient Greek friendship, which is a solidarity reflecting universalism of brotherhood. Also, I come to offer you my contribution for establishing an academic collaboration like in ancient times where Charaka, father of Indian medicine, whose principles constitute the scientific basis of Ayurveda, which influenced with a Vedic knowledge through the Alexander the Great, the foundation of the Western medicine that was created by the father of ancient Greek medicine, Hippocrates, involving a very significant fusion among Indian and Western philosophy linked to medicine, whereas the ancient Greek Delphi method, a participatory consensus, resembled the method of Ayurveda known as Tadvidya, Samkhasa, the Greek theory consisting of microcosm and macrocosm that was found in the ancient systems of yoga and samkha, which formed the basis of Loka Purusha, the 5 Mahaphuta, the 3 dosa and 6 rasas, which form the basis of Ayurveda as a system of medicine and philosophy, including the Prakriti. This is not by luck that in the beginning of the first millennium AD, the main active principal systems of medicine were Greek and Indian Ayurveda. Later, Greek medicine followed the modern science path, gradually evolving as modern medicine, while Ayurveda emerged as a remarkable holistic system, both in its foundational ideas and therapeutic measures. Since Ayurveda is considered as a transdisciplinary knowledge system, which integrates its practices with yogic disciplines involving the indivisible meld between body and mind for its application as the basis of a way of life for the prevention of illness, promotion of health, restoration of vitality, and cure of diseases. However, although this medicine, which is one of the best in the world, has been for more than 5,000 years, there are some obstacles to circumvent before we use it in mainstream medicine as a major scientific discipline. Thus, the first obstacle is establishing a scientifically acceptable evidence-based medicine approach to Ayurvedic principles and practice, which must be developed by the facilitation of a systems medicine approach based on genomic medicine, including epigenomics, epitranscriptomics, proteomics, metabolomics, nutrigenomics, and all other multiomics for the medical validation and proof of the main principles of Ayurveda, including Mahaphuta, Tridosha, or Prakriti types, and their contribution to the body pathophysiology. That's an act of solidarity, if we can establish that, because it can help many, many people. Furthermore, the genomic medicine procedures may be applied and identify effective therapies in Ayurveda by correlating individual genotypes to clinical phenotypes of various disorders, such as non-communicable diseases, including cancer, cardiovascular diseases, neurodegenerative diseases, where my respectful colleague Chinmay has great experience in Alzheimer's disease from his patients in UK. And also we have diabetes, osteoporosis, etc., and communicable diseases such as infectious diseases, including COVID-19. We try to unfold the huge potentiality of Ayurvedic, me and my colleague, by trying to establish this center of excellence, educating doctors how to have the proper genomic evidence and use it towards a personalized medicine approach for each one of their patients, because the potentiality of Ayurveda is huge, and we have to unfold it as a solidarity act and help our people. Our solidarity efforts must focus also on Pragya Purana, eternal principles of happy, progressive and ideal life guided by the esoteric aspects of the science of spirituality, research directions involving the brain and neural tissue, cheerful attitude, mentality, physical health, emotions, child psychology, and mainly child protection and rehabilitation, especially after post-traumatic distress syndrome from deprived, because usually some kids, when they have been abused, they have this terrible post-traumatic distress syndrome, and it can causes many other diseases in the future for them. So my colleague and me, we will try to alleviate all these medical issues. So so these kids, they can have a second chance in life. It is imperative to live believing and following the values of the three pillars of Pandit Sriram Sharma Acharya the Great of spiritual and purpose life, consisting of Upasana, Sadhana, and Aradhana, and the 7 areas of evolutionary development for a better, healthier, and happier world, involving progress in health, education, awakening of women, environment elimination of social evils, entrepreneurship, and we try to promote mainly spirituality, which should be the cornerstone of our solidarity effort, which must always aim towards the improvement of life of people by circumventing social, economic, and psychological barriers. Thus, by pursuing a spiritual awakening process, we must exhibit our solidarity to all people by teaching and implementing the practice of affordable, humane, accessible, sustainable, preventive, and accurate quality curative healthcare service based on, for everybody, based on personalized precision genomic medicine approaches. Finally, our solidarity movement may lead to the development of novel and pioneer screening, preventive, prognostic, diagnostic, and therapeutic approaches for communicable diseases such as COVID-19 and even other infectious diseases, and even chronic non-communicable diseases such as cardiovascular disorders, neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer, Parkinson, and many other diseases that they affect the neural tissue. They can cause dementia. They can cause many other complications, especially to elderly. And they are considered multifactorial diseases, so we can somehow prevent their development and even try to cure their symptoms: cancer, diabetes, osteoporosis, etc., for patients and their genetic relatives, extending to their communities, promoting this way the welfare of humanity. And we are going to do this as a solidarity act. Thank you so much. Thank you, and God bless you. Bye.
Thank you very much, Professor John, for sharing your in-depth expertise in medicine and aligning it to the theme of this E-Conclave. It is our privilege to learn about how science and medicine play an integral role in holistic health. The world of medicine and academia is vast and rich with knowledge. It's also rich with experience and wisdom. As we travel the world with our esteemed speakers, our next stop is in Latvia with the respected Professor Valdis Pirags. With his domain expertise in internal medicine and a deep appreciation for Ayurveda, he is a member of the International Institute of Indic Studies at the University of Latvia. He's been a professor and chair of internal medicine at the medical faculty of the University of Latvia since 2005. He's been the head of the Clinic for Internal Medicine at the P. Stratton's Clinical University Hospital since 2000. He was the head of endocrinology course and an associate professor at the Medical Academy of Latvia from 1995 to 2001. He's been the Director for Education and Research at the P. Stratton's University Hospital from 1999 to 2000, and he was the head of the Department of Medical Education at the Medical Academy of Latvia from 1996 to 2004. And so, with these words, we now humbly request Professor Valdis Pirags to share his opinions and opine on the topic at hand of unity and solidarity.
Friends, we are experiencing the most unexpected crisis since decades. This coronavirus pandemic is ruining not only the human health, but also the conventional lifestyles we are living and traditional values we are prizing. As a doctor, I understand that every viral epidemic is part of the nature, but what is happening now is mostly a result of the mistakes of wrong habits and wrong philosophy of consumism and ignorance of basic rules of physical and spiritual hygiene. Here in Europe, we hope to be in the phase of pandemic when we can start to ease the tight restrictions and lockdowns. But it should not be the signal that we can return to the old wrong habits and spiritual ignorance. It should be time of creation of the new culture, new spiritual and physical hygiene. Let's work together to achieve it. Thank you.
We're indeed grateful to Professor Valdis Pirags for sharing his expertise and speaking to us from a deep background on the interplay of internal medicine with various forms of treatments. Dear listeners, let us next virtually travel to Brazil to meet with our next speaker, His Holiness Swami Shankar Saraswati Ji. He is the president of the Unishankara Yoga Ashram in Brazil and has over 40 years of yoga experience. He's been a close acquaintance of Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, and he's considered one of the acharyas in South America and has worked to emphasize the need for a revival of spiritual reform today. His forte lies in various yoga practices and disciplines such as Tibetan Zen yoga, yoga therapy, and pratyahar, which means the withdrawal of the senses. He has lived a simple and disciplined way of life by absorbing all of his learnings and spreading those learnings to all the people that have crossed his spiritual path. This path of life has immensely enabled him to seek his own true identity and for himself to become more self-aware. And so it's with this brief introduction that we bring you a key message from the far reaches of Brazil.
Om Bhuribhuva Swaham Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Ryo Na Prachodayat Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Nina Characharam Tatpadam Darshitandhenam Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Agyanati Mirandasya Janam Jana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Dhenam Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Gurur Brahma Om Gurur Vishnu Guru Revo Maheshwaram Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tashmai Shri Gurave Namaha Om Shanti 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 Namaste. Olá, tudo bem? A convite do Dr. Chinmay Pandya, em nome de toda a família espiritual do Our Gayatri Pariwar, estou aqui colaborando de bom coração por me sentir também parte dessa grande família mundial que hoje agrega milhões de pessoas ao redor do mundo, em prol de todo o processo de um novo renascimento espiritual, onde todo o legado de aprendizado genuíno da espiritualidade, observando toda a rica história deixada nesse legado pelos rishis até os dias de hoje. Me sinto muito honrado pelo convite de estar aqui transmitindo uma mensagem de paz, uma mensagem de estímulo e uma mensagem a todos os membros da família Gayatri Pariwar, que muito bem estão levando adiante todos os princípios e todo o legado de aprendizados e de despertamento, de talentos e das faculdades mentais, colaborando em todo o processo através do Yoga Sadhana, Tapas, Upasana, Mahayagya, Dipyagya, enfim, todas as possibilidades técnicas e toda a orientação adequada espiritual para que toda essa nação Gayatri, muito bem comandada, desde o seu projeto de inspiração de fundação, através do Parampuja Gurudev Sri Ram Sharmacharya Ji e Bhagavati Mataji. Sempre me senti muito honrado, desde a primeira vez que fui convidado a conhecer as dependências desta brilhante família espiritual, em suas dependências, com todo o cuidado, com todo o carinho, que não só atenderam a mim, mas também atende os milhares de pessoas que procuram, através da orientação pregada por seu fundador, de trazer à humanidade a esperança de um mundo melhor, de termos a capacidade de refinar a nossa conduta, refinar os nossos princípios e de nos tornarmos seres humanos cada vez mais brilhantes e cada vez mais condizentes com o despertamento de tudo aquilo que de fato somos internamente. Esse é um momento muito especial na nossa vida, onde, de certa forma, estamos atendendo a uma nova realidade que, penso eu, deve ter sido já prevista por esse grande visionário espiritual, de que passaríamos por isso e de que deveríamos estar preparados para esse novo processo de renovação e esse novo processo de cuidados e de valorização espiritual. Contem comigo, estamos juntos, mesmo distante daqui do Brasil. Fazemos parte dessa mesma família espiritual que traz para o benefício de todas as pessoas a possibilidade de sermos seres humanos cada vez mais brilhantes e atuantes, para que possamos deixar um mundo melhor para todos, para a nossa família, para as pessoas que gostamos, fazendo jus e respeito a todo esse legado espiritual deixado pelos rishis. Agradeço muito o convite. Estou aqui junto com vocês, dando apoio, força, através de tudo o que brilhantemente todas as pessoas à frente da organização Shanti Kunj e do Sanskriti Vishwavidyalaya, com tudo que oferece para a humanidade de bem-estar, de valorização e de elevação espiritual. Estamos juntos, fiquem bem, se cuidem, meditem. Namastê.
We are grateful to His Holiness Swami Shankar Saraswati Ji for enlightening us with his views. It is indeed a privilege to have him share his wisdom and knowledge with us today. We are truly traversing the depth and breadth of the globe today. Our next esteemed speaker is His Holiness Hariji from Italy. He has totally dedicated himself to yoga, meditation, and study of scriptures. Hariji is the head of the Yoga Dharma Ashram in Italy. At an early age, he was recognized by 3 different international yoga schools as a teacher of Hatha, Siddha, and Kundalini Yoga. He founded and managed the Professional Teachers Training School and established the Association International of Aquarian Age of Yoga Dharma Teachers. He has also supported the International Globe Peace Meditation Day in Japan actively. He is the president of Yoga Dharma Community and Yoga Dharma International. He is the director of the Yoga Center Yoga Dharma in Rome. He is the director of the Yoga Dharma Ashram in Bracciano and the president of Italian Sikh Union. He is also a representative for the Sikh communities in Italy. He is the member of the National Committee of Religions for Peace. Lastly, he's a member of the Religions Council of the City of Rome and an honorable member of Flags for Peace. Let's please welcome Hariji to share a few words.
Care sorelle, cari fratelli, Om Shanti. Sono Hariji e vi parlo dallo Yoga Dharma Ashram di Roma, in Italia, che come sicuramente saprete è la nazione più martoriata dalla pandemia del Covid-19. Con una popolazione di circa 60 milioni di abitanti abbiamo avuto oltre 200.000 contagi con più di 27.000 decessi. Siamo ormai chiusi nelle nostre case da oltre 2 mesi e ogni attività non vitale è stata sospesa. Dal dopoguerra ad oggi nulla di ciò era mai accaduto. Ci troviamo a fronteggiare un nemico silenzioso ed invisibile che colpisce vigliaccamente i più deboli. Non esistono confini, muri o dogane che possono fermare questo virus, ma solo consapevolezza. Ed è appunto la consapevolezza l'arma vincente contro questo nemico. Nel 35° capitolo della Markandeya Purana, intitolato Prasnadhyaya Varnanam, cioè il capitolo delle domande, al versetto 6 viene detto: le idee stanno proprio come tu hai detto, o tigre tra gli uomini. L'idea di mio è la radice della sofferenza, mentre quella di non mio comporta serenità e pace. Pur essendo probabilmente datato intorno al III secolo, questo testo mostra tutta la sua modernità. In questo versetto, ad una domanda di Giada, Dattatreya risponde che è nel concetto di io e mio che risiede la sofferenza, mentre in quello di noi e nostro la pace e la serenità. Ora, care sorelle e cari fratelli, ogni esperienza dona un insegnamento. Ciò che stiamo vivendo ci prepara ad accogliere ciò che proprio questa è la verità. Finalmente gli insegnamenti di Dattatreya per la nostra salvezza si mostrano in tutta la loro potenza. Non è più il tempo dell'io e il mio, ma del noi e il nostro. Non c'è più il ricco, famoso, colto, privilegiato che si salva, e il povero, ignorante, disagiato, bisognoso che soccombe. O ci salviamo tutti, o per tutti sarà molto dura. Un diamante non è altro che un pezzo di carbone sottoposto ad altissime pressioni. Sta ora a noi scegliere se irradiare luce o assorbire buio. In questo contesto possiamo dare il meglio o il peggio di noi. Noi tutti dobbiamo gettare il cuore oltre l'ostacolo, passare da carbone a diamante, dalle tenebre della pandemia alla luce della salvezza. Le tenebre diffondono oscurità, ignoranza. L'amore emana luce, verità. Non sottovalutate il virus, prendete tutte le precauzioni possibili, ma aiutate i più bisognosi. Asciugate le lacrime di chi ha perso i propri cari. Sostenete chi non ha più nulla. Incoraggiate chi ha paura. Portate luce, speranza, amore e carità. In Yoga Dharma noi ci siamo autotassati e abbiamo destinato tutti i fondi dell'editoria per coloro che si trovano in difficoltà e che hanno perso il lavoro. I nostri insegnanti sono continuamente in contatto con tutti gli studenti e i loro familiari. Continuiamo la pratica dello yoga quotidianamente in video e teniamo costantemente meditazioni alle 5, alle 11:11, alle 18 e alle 22. Questo legame ci rinforza e ci sostiene. Continuiamo ad essere ottimisti e siamo sicuri che tra pochi giorni riapriremo i nostri centri yoga in tutta Italia, compresa Milano. Ovviamente con tutte le precauzioni e le attenzioni del caso. Qui, ora, in Italia, cominciamo a vedere la luce in fondo al tunnel e siamo sicuri che anche voi ben presto sarete fuori da questa emergenza. Ma fate sì che questa dolorosa esperienza non sia stata vana. Ricordate che il mondo tutto è solo una grande famiglia e che non ci sono limiti, confini, dogane, barriere o frontiere. L'umanità è una, siamo tutti fratelli e sorelle. Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu, Om Shanti. Mi inchino ai santi piedi di Sharmacharya e di Vandarya Mataji, luce e speranza dell'umanità.
Thank you so much, Honorable Hariji, for sharing your deep knowledge and perspective on yoga and the impact of the practice to create peace and unity. Moving along to our next esteemed guest. It is with great pleasure that we welcome respected Antonietta Rozzi, who has established herself in the study and dissemination of yoga teachings. She is the president of Sarva Yoga International in Italy. She is a yoga teacher with having more than 42 years of experience in the field. She is the recipient of 2019 Prime Minister's Award for Outstanding Contribution for Promotion and Development of Yoga, and she has supplemented recognition to yoga as a promising academic field and to yoga therapy as a viable healing system in Europe. Let's welcome her as she shares a few thoughts with us.
Namaskar. Dear friends, brother and sister of all world Gayatri Pariwar, pranams from Italy. When Dr. Chinmay Pandey asked me to say a few words, it has been such a pleasure and honor for me, because this makes me more close to your great family. So on my behalf and on behalf of Sarva Yoga International, it is a privilege to be in touch with you and to feel close to each other. Even if we are in different countries, distant, but very similar in many aspects. Italy and India have indeed many similarities: a very ancient culture, artistic wealth, a deep religious sentiment, and the ability to give their best in difficulties and solve problems that seem insurmountable. Italy was one of the first countries affected by coronavirus. And now also India and the whole world experience the same situation never experienced before. The whole world is living a difficult time that confuses mind, heart, and consciences. Amazement, fear are the first reaction in a new and unprecedented situation such as the pandemic. And the media, with alarming and sometimes discordant news, feed fears and insecurity. The pandemic also highlights injustice and social inequality, with even more cruelty, where the rich have more chance of survival than the poor. Fortunately, however, not only are viruses contagious globally, but hope, sense of closeness, and unity despite social distancing, compassion for the weakest, and brotherhood are also becoming contagious. A global danger like the coronavirus, in addition to insecurity and fear, has developed in many consciousness an extraordinary sense of unity, of sharing, and the great family of yogis, never as in this moment of difficulty, has shown to be alive, active, and united. The ancient discipline of yoga, at this Israel situation of lockdown, has been able to ride the most modern and unusual path of communication, the online one that allows me to speak to you and to stay with you now. That strength, those values that makes human life a precious gift to be preserved, and the indispensable mean to move toward a dimension which included, indeed, material existence, but project us at the end of the journey of life toward the unity and eternity of the spiritual dimension. Yoga, that even starting from asana, teaches us how to change our perspective of existence, will be able to seize this moment of difficulty as a great opportunity to generously direct our skills and energies toward the divine, precisely through solidarity and helping the others. In the true spirit of karma yoga, taught in the Bhagavad Gita, and that has become the noble mission of all world Gayatri Pariwar's great family. So the web becomes the gross texture of a subtle network between beings that has always existed, even if we are not always aware of it. And that makes us feeling part of a whole and feeling one with all. In a concrete and not only philosophical way, from the beginning of the pandemic that hit Italy before other countries, we have started meeting online with yoga masters and yoga classes. The response was extraordinary and surprising. And the yoga appointment has become not only the opportunity to continue sadhana, but also a great psychological and social support, a fundamental communication between social distance people. The human being, say psychologists and sociologists, cannot avoid to communicate. The rishis, the sage of all religions, add that human being cannot avoid to communicate with the Creator, with God. It seems that the easiest way for a true and authentic communication with the divine is through deep communication and help with other beings. The online communication of modern society, considered until yesterday superficial, virtual, therefore not authentic, has become the vehicle of an essential and true communication that will leave traces in the social evolution of this year, even after the pandemic. To give an example, I had the honor and privilege of participating in the online global prayer of the gurus and yoga master of yoga, together with Reverend Dr. Pranab Pandai. This event has also been followed and reviewed on the web by many Italian yogis. The unity of consciousness of the present Mahatma at the online event has created a vortex of energy so strong that everyone, even those like me who don't understand Hindi, have perceived it beyond words. The language of consciousness is universal. Like a musical instrument, it can be played in different ways to create harmony. That harmony that creates your dedication in helping the poor and needy afflicted by the pandemic in a very concrete way. The presence, the strength of all of you, dear friends of the great family of all world Gayatri Pariwar, in helping those whom this epidemic makes even more fragile and vulnerable, is a source of inspiration for us in Europe, in Italy, and an illuminating example for humanity. From a family, we should receive strength, love, support in difficulty, and encouragement. And your commitment is an example for everyone of how to transform a tragedy into an opportunity for personal and collective growth. Feeling part of your great family is a privilege for which I humbly thank the founders and those who tirelessly continue this noble humanitarian work. And you all, who in every center, with a spirit of charity, are committed to helping the needy. Dear friends, thank you for this example, for the energy, the dedication that you transmit to our country, so confused and frightened, as all the countries in the world are nowadays. Receive from us, Italian yogis, the same affection, the same encouragement to be united in difficulties, in the hope of a better future and the birth of a strong feeling of brotherhood all around the world. Only a change of individual consciousness and feeling of sincere brotherhood can bring the true revolution in social consciousness and make the world a place of solidarity, fairness, where to live in peace and harmony. Thank you for your bright example in this time of fear, uncertainty, but also of hope. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, respected Antonietta Rozzi, for sharing your expertise in yoga, therapy, and healing, and also tying it so well with the theme of today. Fellow viewers and participants, thank you for staying tuned with us. It is with great pleasure that we introduce our next influential and globally recognized speaker, Her Holiness Yogini Kaliji. She is the internationally renowned yogi and founder of Tri-Yoga. Kaliji is the founder of Chant Club, a music ensemble presenting Sanskrit chants in call and response style. She was honored the title of Yogini by Sri Ganpati Sachidanand Swamiji of Mysore. She is recognized for global humanitarian service with the Vishwabandhu Award. She presented 53 keynote addresses, major presentations, and in-depth programs at yoga conferences and other venues. She has also been featured in the book Secret of the World's Inspirational Women. And lastly, her love for animals has manifested into her vegan plant-based lifestyle for over 40 years. She teaches the Ahimsa Trinity of animal rights, ecology, and health. Please welcome Yogini Kaliji to say a few words.
Namaste. I am happy for this opportunity to share a few words at the request of respected Dr. Chinmay Pandya. This is a time on Earth where COVID-19 has appeared like a tsunami. Everyone has been affected in different ways. Thousands of souls have left their bodies, while others are left weeping at their departures. Over 1 million have contracted the virus, with some having serious complications, while others are asymptomatic. Many have been left in financial ruin, while some online businesses thrive. Some are in desperate need of help, while others are serving those in need. Some need to stay inside, while others are on the front lines. Some have been challenged with stay at home, while others have chosen to go deep inside. Many never dreamed something like this would happen, while others predicted it was only a matter of time for an epidemic. Now, we must navigate through this crisis. But this is not enough. We need to see what we can do to lessen the chances of this occurring again, and even more severely. We can trace the source back to Himsa in the form of the mistreatment of animals. Due to eating habits, not only are the lives of animals taken, but human lives too. Ecology is paying the price for the destruction that comes with this diet of animal consumption. Wild animals are stressed with their natural habitats being taken away, and those subjected to factory farms are extremely stressed and scared. Just as with stressed humans, it is easier for stressed animals to become sick. All of this gives rise to zoonotic diseases. Now, here we are in the midst of this chain reaction. Will humanity take this as a wake-up call? Or will things go back to normal once this crisis passes? To have a prosperous future, ahimsa needs to be the norm. This timeless message is still the answer. I hope all can look at this cycle and realize the biggest change that we can make is to end animal suffering. This will greatly support a robust ecology, and human health will improve as well. For now, if we have not been impacted, then our role is to serve those that are. This is the compassion and action that the Gayatri Pariwar is offering throughout the world. I greatly admire the ahimsa values of the Gayatri Pariwar for their selfless service in a time of great need. Once again, they are giving a helping hand. We can always count on them to demonstrate highest values. Again, I am happy to be asked to give a message. We all must work together for the greater cause. May ahimsa be the guiding light. Namaste.
Many thanks to Our Holiness Yogini Kaliji for reconnecting us with ahimsa and what that truly means in yoga practices that is a stepping stone for unity and solidarity. Let us continue this global tour. It is a privilege to welcome our next esteemed panelist, His Holiness Bhakti Swarup Chaitanya Swamiji from Lithuania. He is the yoga spiritual master, lecturer, and founder and professor of Ayurvedic Academy in Vilnius. He is a religious leader of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also called the Hare Krishna Movement. He is a member of its governing body commission and its leader for ISKCON in South Africa, Baltic states, and Russia. He also is closely associated with the educational programs of ISKCON and teaches at Vaishnav Institute for Higher Education in Vrindavan. He is practicing Bhakti Yoga for over 30 years and is actively preaching in Russia, USA, India, Baltic states, Norway, and many more countries. Please welcome him as he shares a few words.
Dear members of Gayatri Pariwar, dear my friends, dear my well-wishers, by their humble request, I dare to give some understanding and Shastic evidence to the present situation in the world nowadays. We know from the history of the world that regularly, from time to time, different sufferings being inflicted upon the humanity. And of course, all the lower species of life have to suffer. The wars, the diseases, pandemics, lockdowns, and like that. But despite of everything, we have to spread the love and devotion to the Lord and promote the cleanliness, mercifulness, truthfulness, and austerity throughout the society in a wider scale, on a wide scale. And this way, everyone will become happy and serve by serving the Lord, serving each other, serving the society, will make everyone happy and healthy. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best, and thank you for the wonderful opportunity to have your wonderful association. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
We are grateful to His Holiness Bhakti Sarup Caitanya Swamiji for enlightening us with his wisdom and expertise and connecting the dots with the theme of this E-Conclave. Viewers from far and wide, thank you for your continued participation on this global journey with us. Joining us next is His Holiness Swami Matsyavardarji Prabhu, imparts teachings of bhakti and service, all the while building collaborations and actively participating on joint global projects. He is a president of CSB. He is a disciple of Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, from whom received spiritual initiation in 1977. He carried out many important services within ISKCON, setting up and developing Villa Vrindavan, the first Vaishnava rural community in Italy. He is also responsible for editing of articles for Back to Godhead magazine and creating radio programs for Radio Krishna Central. He founded the Center Study Bhaktivedanta in 1995, a recognized nonprofit cultural association and social promotion, and later in 2000, the Academy of Traditional Sciences of India. In 2008, he founded the Yoga Teacher Training School, which imparts the knowledge and practice of Bhakti Yoga, as well as the School of Spiritual Relational Counseling, recognized by the Italian Association of Professional Counselors. In 2012, he was awarded a PhD in philosophy by Sanskriti University for his contribution to dissemination of Vedic knowledge throughout the world. Please welcome him as he shares a few words with us.
Dear brothers and sisters, all glories to the Almighty Lord. I address you and the people who have faith and hope in the midst of this crisis, so that we can overcome this time of sufferings and fear. There is a way, and about that I would like to talk with you. This tremendous crisis actually could become a wonderful opportunity, powerful opportunity to overcome the disgrace, to overcome this pandemic. We are actually experiencing a time of transition, how to build a better world. That's the question. How to trespass from a suffering world to an enjoying world. It is actually the big problem to understand the difference between enjoying and getting pacified and experiencing ananda. We are actually experiencing a time which is not only a pandemic, a question of health, but it is systemic. It is involved a political crisis, economic, socio-economic model, and how people are living, because this pandemic has its own strength based on pollution of the atmosphere, the pollution of water, of air, of the collective psyche. Pollution is the real cause of this pandemic. It is not a question just for that country, the other country, another country. No, it is a global question. It is a global crisis. And this crisis can't be solved by a particular small change of behavior. No, it needs a revolutionary intent to transform our habits and behaviors. Because pollution is the base of contamination. So everything must be refocalized, not so much with vaccines, chemicals, and things like that. I'm not excluding that, but I'm saying that the most powerful defense would be our immunitary system. I am not against, nor I am in favor of vaccines. I am saying that that is not the central point to solve the crisis. Crisis must be solved by an anthropological way of life. This anthropological revolution must be a cultural and spiritual one. Because no revolution could ever succeed if it is not first an internal inner revolution. Heart purification, a different way how to look at life, at the creatures, at the world, at the nature, at man, community, and so on. The food is polluted, the water we drink is polluted, the air we are breathing is polluted, and the psyche also polluted, especially the collective psyche. So, if we want to get out from this mess, we should be really strongly intentionated to look inside, because the great is inside and not outside. Outside it is the external world, the Prakriti world. Inside there is the Purushic world, Atmic world. The real hope and also the real goal of human life is self-realization. Self-realization can't be get without giving proper attention to our behavior, to our relationship with people. First nearest people, then far out people. We must combine immanence with transcendence, because both of them are to be taken seriously in consideration. We are not just abstract, spiritual spark. We are embodied souls. We are Jivan Bhuta. Jivan Bhuta means we are Jivan, life. We are Atma Bhuta. We are Atman, yeah, but we are in an incarnation. So we have also to maintain very well health and beauty and fresh our material body. But not by worshipping our body, but not just neurotic consideration for our body. Najayatina, Mriyatina, Kavachin. We never took birth, we never will die. We are eternal beings, but spiritual inside flesh, inside the fleshly body. So we need both a very good material environment. Nature is the most wonderful garden which we can live if we are not going to pollute it again. So Varna Ashram Dharma, diving Varna Ashram Dharma, is a very reliable theoretic knowledge by Sankhya, by yoga, by bhakti, by many means of knowledge, by my many fields, my very much experience, especially in India. We have this immense treasure. Knowledge, transcendental knowledge, but not only transcendental, also immanent knowledge. This is the way how to get out from this disaster, this mess. We have not to minimize it is actually a mess. But we are part of the problem. Now we have to change the position. Now we must to become part of the solution. So, as it is said in the Mahabharata, Prakriti and Purusha are coming from the same source, the Parampurusha. Mahavishnu is the source of everything. So, let's say that in all religious systems, they accept, that this world has been given to us not just to enjoy it in a predatory way, by karma moved. No, must be a place in which we can make spiritual experiences and get free from birth and death. So we have to take care of this beautiful, wonderful garden that has been given to us by the Supreme and Mighty Lord. And we have the duty, beautiful duty, to leave to descendants, to our son, grandson, and so on, in the same way, at least, or even better, we have inherited it. That's my message. We have everything in our hands. So I don't want to minimize the tremendous pandemic time we're living, but we have not just to cry on ourselves. We have to act in an intelligent way, in a dharmic way, in a spiritual way, cultured way, in order to take care not only of ourselves, but we must be able to take care even of those who needs help. Let's work all together, and let's ask to the Supreme Lord, by chanting His holy names, the strength to not only survive to this disaster, but to take the most sound lessons, transforming it in a wonderful opportunity, powerful opportunity to elevate our consciousness, or at least our knowledge in march towards perfection. Let's chant the mantra, invocating to be blessed by Supreme Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I wish all the best for you. You are in the service of the Lord. Matsya Avatara Das.
It is our good fortune to listen to the wisdom of His Holiness, Swamiji. We are deeply grateful for your guidance, and we are very inspired by your words. It is an absolute privilege to introduce our concluding guest speaker for this session, Honorable Raja Dr. Jose Luis Alvarez Rosette, most popularly known for Transcendental Meditation. He is the Chief Administrator for Latin America, Global Country for World Peace, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi Vedic Universities. He is an expert world leader in the application of awareness-raising technologies, brought to light by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in education, government, and military training. He introduced the science of awareness in more than 250 schools in 23 countries in Latin America, with more than 195,000 students participating. These programs have been so positive that they have motivated government leaders and educators in Brazil, Mexico, Ecuador, and other countries to offer this program to millions of children in Latin America. He has overseen a training program in the army of several countries in Latin America, especially in Ecuador, where thousands of military personnel have used the science in their training. Please welcome our wonderful speaker to share a few words.
Namaste. This is a message from the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi universities and international organizations around the world to congratulate and to support all the great efforts of the Santikund and Gayatri Pariwar community around India. This is a difficult time of confinement for all of us around the world. It's a special time, it's a special opportunity. It's a special time because it challenges our way of living and makes us to be better. And it's an opportunity because organizations such as Gayatri Pariwar or Santikund, which has millions of people and 5,000 centers serving everyone in the most incredible confinement country of the world, the great India, caring for everyone, supporting everyone, selfless, dedicating so much efforts to accomplish well-being for the needy, to create an effort of support, and also creating this community feeling, this sense of togetherness, this sense of supporting each other in time of difficulties, which is in the very core of the spirit of this fantastic and so important organization in the world, which is Gayatri Pariwar and the Santikund University, which is in Haridwar, the soul of the Vedic knowledge. We, from the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi universities and organizations around the world, support and work together. And we feel always a privilege when we can share and participate in activities, because the great leadership and the great family of all Gayatri Pariwar is an example. And this must be the blessing of the Ma Gayatri, which is so purely invoked by all the family, which is, as we know, the mother of so much purity and love for everyone and caring for everyone. And in that spirit, all Gayatri Pariwar is setting an example and a great standard in the most difficult confinement that we are experiencing, and that represents the whole spirit of people that is living the spirit of Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinam and all the great ideals of the Vedic Dharma. And in this consideration and in this situation, we are reminded that our Maharishi Ji, the founder of Maharishi organizations, and Maharaj Adiraj Rajaram, Dr. Tony Nether, they dedicated quite a lot of time to the scientific research on Gayatri Devi and all the incredible correlations with modern science. From the Maharishi University in Holland, from all our universities around the world, we are in about 175 countries around the world. We want to tell you, we are with you. We adore what you are doing. We support you, and please count with us if anything we can do. And congratulations for the great effort. Every center, every person in every center, every of the Seva workers that is selflessly every day and every night providing support to the needed people and supporting so much the great plan of Prime Minister Modi in this situation to protect India from difficulties in health and create a condition for well-being for all. We can only say Gayatri, Pariwar, and Santikut University, you are in our heart. We are with you. And together, what you are doing is an example for all of us. Thank you for the opportunity to congratulate you, to express our adoration to you, and to tell you how beautiful it is to see every day what you are doing for everyone in the true spirit of Gayatri, Santikun University, and the best spirit of the Indian heart, which has the whole and the very best of our mankind. Thank you very much, and Koti Koti, Dhanyavad, Namaste, and Jai Gurudev.
Our deepest gratitude to Honorable Raja Dr. Jose Luis Alvarez Rosette. Your wisdom and insights provide us with a renewed sense of appreciation. Dear friends, viewers, and panelists from all around the world, we now conclude our second session of the second day of our global E-Conclave in celebration of International Day of Yoga. The richness and experience of our diverse speakers have been thought-provoking, and we hope that you are further inspired to embrace unity and solidarity with a deeper understanding. Many thanks to all of you for joining us today, and we cordially invite you to join us again tomorrow at 10 a.m. Indian Standard Time for another exciting day and conclusion of our E-Conclave. Thank you and pranam to everyone.